This is Aaron East with MMA UK, and I'm joined this afternoon by ice cold Summer Onley of Ronin MMA. After an impressive amateur career, Summer's made her professional debut back in June and now has 2 professional victories under her belt with full contact contender. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your afternoon to speak with me again, Summer, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime, mate, anytime. Last we spoke was just short of 2 years back, I believe, when you competed for the IMAFs.
Yeah, it was a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, quite some time ago. I mean, your inclusion was at the end of your amateur journey, and a very impressive amateur journey at that. I mean, did you feel that you achieved everything you wanted when making the decision to turn pro?
Yeah, I definitely feel like I checked off all the boxes that I wanted to. Like, I wanted to have a few title fights in the UK. I wanted to fight like the best girls in my weight division, which I definitely did. And
Mm,
then yeah, getting to compete for England at the IMAF was pretty cool. I think I would have liked to have done the Worlds.
mm,
I think that was going to be in March or April of that year in 2023, but it just never really panned out. I think, after talking to my coach at the time,
mm.
it just kind of made sense to go pro because I was like, I'm getting on a bit, so I best go to pro. So but yeah, that would have been cool. But like obviously I've had a big break in between that anyway. So
Yeah,
yeah, I covered everything I wanted to, yeah.
that's always good to cover everything before you definitely go pro. I mean, only a single defeat throughout, and I'm sure some fond moments for yourself. And is there a particular moment that will always hold a fond memory for yourself throughout your amateur journey?
Um I feel like my third fight was with Lexi Rook.
Yeah.
Um I, I should not have been in the cage with her. I mean, like I was just so underexperienced against her. I mean, it was a wicked fight. It's still probably one of my toughest fights to date for sure. And I think it's probably like getting a knee bar in a fight. I think is pretty cool. Especially amateur level. I don't know many people that have pulled off a knee bar. Actually, in amateur or pro, I think it's a pretty cool, like unique submission to get. So yeah, getting like a submission like that over like a super tough opponent like Lexi Rook was like a massive highlight for me. And yeah, I just remember the crowd was so loud when I pulled that off, and then like yeah, watching it back, it was a really back and forth fight.
Mm,
So like, even the grappling exchanges, it was pretty 50-50. And then God, it was like the furthest I've ever been in a fight. Obviously, only my third amateur career, fight, sorry.
mm.
And yeah, going against someone as high level as her was a massive eye opener. But yeah, like managing to get that kind of submission when all hope was lost in my eyes. Because I mean, I had her back in the third round, and then I think she rotated me, and I was just like, oh my God, I was like, oh God, Summer, how are we here? So yeah, being able to pull that off in like the third round after like getting, yeah, I don't know, it was just a really back and forth fight, and yeah, to come out on top was a pretty big achievement in my eyes. So yeah, that's probably the highlight of my amateur career, I reckon.
That's a great one to pick on. And I remember that fight vividly myself. I was sitting there watching this like edge of the seat kind of fight. That was a great
Yeah, it
fight.
was. Yeah, it was a really good one.
I mean, there was quite a gap, as you mentioned before, between your last amateur outing and your pro debut. I mean, what did you get up to before pulling on those FCC gloves?
Not a lot. No, obviously. Yeah, there was some big changes that I had to make in my fight career, I guess. I changed gyms. I moved to Ronin in Birmingham, and once I moved there, which was like June last year, um, I was meant to have a fight like last October, but it kind of it just kept falling through. Like either the opponents fell through or the promotions fell through.
Mm,
Um, I was signing deals with promotions, and like I had like a 4 fight deal contract with some promotions in the UK, in Europe, and they were really good promotions, but it just
mm.
never came through with opponents, which is really frustrating. And I'm sure like loads of females are like having the same issue.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, obviously it was a little bit of that, and then I had to kind of get comfortable with my new gym. I knew them before anyway, like I knew Silk and Adam and all that, but it was kind of like making sure I was doing the right things. I literally had to learn all the basics again. Like I had so many bad like habits, which I
Yeah.
accumulated over ages, you know. So it was kind of like they're really good at striking and wrestling, which were obviously my lower leveled aspects of my game, I guess. I was not much of a striker, let's be honest. I just ran around the cage and then just hope for a takedown of my fight.
Yeah.
I had to basically work a lot on my striking, a lot on my wrestling, and the guys at Ronin have just worked like tirelessly working on my striking game. So yeah, it was a lot of different things. Yeah, changing gyms was probably the biggest one. Like I was up and ready to fight in October, but like talking with my coaches, it probably wasn't the right time anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
glad that I didn't actually get a fight. I needed to work on so much of my game, and luckily now it's shown, like it's paid off. Like I definitely feel like my striking's come on massively. So yeah, massive thanks to the guys at Ronin, and yeah, everything's just been a big change. It's a change that I needed. Like I definitely feel a lot better in myself, mentally, and physically I just feel a lot better as well. So yeah, it was the right move for me at the right time. So yeah, that was basically the biggest part of why I was out for so long.
Yeah, your striking definitely come along from what we saw not too long back. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, quite the build up to what has been an explosive professional career thus far. I mean, your first being back in June, and it was like you've never been away from the cage, in my opinion, mate. I mean, not leaving it to the judges. I mean,
I
finish
know.
your opponent in the second round. I
Oh, I
mean,
was
how did
buzzing about
yeah,
that. Yeah.
I mean, how did you feel after that successful debut?
Oh, I don't know. It was like a big bag of mixed emotions leading up to that. Like, obviously, I'd had a really good amateur career, and that I changed gyms, and I think there was even more pressure on because it was like, oh, have I made the right decision? Have I not made the right decision?
Mm.
There's going
Oh, we seem to have lost Summer, unfortunately. I will be right back and try and get her back on. Oh, I think she's joined back. 1 second. I do not know what happened there, but sorry about it. You're
I
back
just,
there.
just decided to leave for a second and then just jump back on. Clearly, sorry. Did I get cut off? Where did I get?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I think, did I mention? Yeah, I don't think people wanted me maybe to do well, so it was just an extra added pressure. I think that's
Mm.
where I left off. And yeah, it was just a lot of risks that I took in the lead up to that fight. So it was, you know, I've not been in the cage for a long time. I thought I'd be a lot more nervous than I was, but
Yeah.
luckily, talking to Rob, who I've like Rob therapy of Rob, he's really helped me
Mm.
kind of channel that. You know, everyone works on their physical attributes, right? Everyone's training really hard, but like I feel like a lot of people, including myself, I definitely neglect like the mental side of it because if you're not thinking you're going to win when you're in the cage, and you're like 9 times out of 10 you're not winning.
Mm.
So it was like I worked with him a lot, and he's like managed to bring my confidence up massively, and that's paired with like my coaching at Ronin. It's just everything kind of went well, and
Mm.
yeah, the whole game plan was just showing a bit more of my striking, obviously including the wrestling if I needed to, but it
Mm.
was more like I've grappled for most of my amateur career. The whole reason why I've moved gyms is to kind of get better as a mixed martial artist and not just focus solely on grappling. So
Yeah.
it was just a really good platform to be able to showcase what everyone's been working on with me, like behind the scenes. So yeah, there was definitely a lot of emotions going into that fight, but luckily I was able to channel that into a good performance. Basically, yeah, lots of nerves, lots of excitement. I was actually just really excited to get back in there. Let's be honest, I'd missed it quite a lot. So yeah, I was the walkout and everything, and then yeah, because it's like a similar, like I'd fought there quite a few times in Liverpool and Olympia, so it was kind of like it was like I'd been there before. Obviously, I've been
Mm.
there before, so yeah, it wasn't too new to me, but obviously like having a new team, and being my pro debut is different rule sets and how lengthy the rounds are. So yeah, it was just like a lot of things going into that fight, but obviously it went well. So can't be mad at it. You know, can't be mad at it.
Oh, definitely. Right, before we continue, we've got a few comments coming in. Miles Painter, Onley is a real deal.
Thanks, Miles. Thanks.
And we've got Ghee Roast Aroma, fire emojis.
Yes, fire emoji. I like that. I like that. I can't believe people even comment on these.
Yeah, they do. I mean,
Oh.
from Abby Jane, right now you're even more of a beast.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I try. I try. Try my hardest.
I mean, by the looks of it, your first fight ignited your fire to continue again, because just 3 months later you were back out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you never know if it's going to go one way or the other. Like, you know, we tried so hard. I know FCC were trying to match me for March card, and we got like no opponents from what I'm aware of. I don't think we did. So then, yeah, it was just waiting on June, and then luckily they got an opponent for that one, and then, you know, because it was a really dominant victory in my eyes, I think. You just don't know if it's going to go one way where no one wants to fight you, or it goes the opposite and people are like want to shut you up, kind of thing. So luckily it went the other way, and like people, maybe it was like an interesting matchup for people. Like, I'm on a bit of not a hype train. I'm not saying I'm on a hype train, but like, yeah, I'm coming up. Like, I'm bringing myself up. I don't know how to word this. But yeah, it was basically like could have gone either way. And luckily, I just got someone that was from Brazil that was, she hadn't fought in MMA, but I'm sure she had like some boxing fights between her last MMA fight and this one. So I think she was still active, but she just wasn't doing MMA. So yeah, having someone like that of that caliber as well, like she was a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That scared me a little bit. I mean, I was pretty confident in my jiu-jitsu, but I was like, oh, that's like another level, that is. So yeah, having that as like my second fight, and she was 3-1. She'd fought like on the Brazilian scene, I think, and then she fought on Ares, which was like a really, really good promotion. So yeah, I definitely knew that she was going to be a real game fighter, and I just didn't expect that much of a game fighter. Like, I knew she'd be pressure forward, but my God, she was intense from the get-go. But yeah, it was really good to have like a quick turnaround. Sometimes you need like a big break, like like some rest period. So I had like a week or two off, but after that it was kind of like straight back into a fight camp, because I wasn't like hurt or anything in my fight. I had
We seem to have disconnected again. Hopefully we can get Summer back in 1 second. I don't think this streaming service likes us very much.
I'm
Welcome
so
back.
sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not your fault.
It's my fault. I don't know what I'm doing here.
No, it's all right. It sometimes happens to me as well. Just happens. Must be the weather or something.
Yeah, it's we're not having it.
And you added another win to your FCC outings. There we go. I got there. I think that
Yeah.
signal knocked me off a bit. But yeah, we've won a TKO victory, none what to boot as well. I mean, in my opinion, that was definitely fight of the night. I was speaking to Shamrock, who was also there, and he agreed that was an incredible performance by you.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely like like I said, the first round was a bit, me on the back foot. I've definitely got to hold my hands up. Like, I didn't think she would be that pressure forward, like I said. But yeah, like once I knew that she was gonna, like, I've from her previous fight, which was like 2 years ago. So you just don't know what they're gonna be like at all. So she just came out boxing heavy. Like, I just thought she'd go for takedowns and want to kind of do a bit more grappling, but no, like, she just wanted to swing at me. So yeah, it was kind of like she landed a good couple of right hands that my face kindly absorbed for me. That it didn't knock me down or anything, but yeah, it definitely wakes you up when you're in there for sure. But yeah, I think after I took like a second or a third one, which I didn't intend to do, you kind of feel their power and you think, oh, I've taken your best shot and I'm all right. So I'll be able to take a few more, which I did, which was great. And then yeah, luckily, well, not luckily, she kind of slowed down towards the end of the first round, and then that's when I kind of like picked my shots a little bit better, and I kind of like can't like compose myself a bit more, I think. So yeah, it was like really. I think she was probably winning the first round, if I'm honest, until I got the knockdown. And yeah, then after that, it was kind of like my confidence just like gained as time went on. So yeah, really happy with it. Really happy with it.
Jamie, I mean, you looked elated, and as well as the commentators as well. I think they nearly broke the mics.
Oh yes,
It
that's
was
something. One of
incredible.
broken mics.
When your journey is just beginning, and like your goals you reached on your amateur level, and when you now chase your goals on your professional level, what goals have you set out for yourself to embark on your new path?
Well, I mean, I'd love to be like maybe, like have a few more fights. Hopefully, they go really well. I think they will go really well, depending on the opponent. No, it will go well on the opponent. Doesn't matter. And then I'm gonna hopefully I would love to be on the Contender Series or PFL, UFC. I think that's everyone's goal, right? When you're starting out MMA, you want to be on the bigger shows. I think, yeah, I'd love to have a title fight maybe on FCC in the near future. I think that'd be really good. I know there's some good bantamweight girls that are still out there that I'd love to have a scrap with. So yeah, I think that's in the future. Hopefully, if FTC is down for that, I'd love to have a title fight on their show, or like other shows. I'm totally up for it. But yeah, I think like everyone else's goals, it's to be on a really big platform. Either on UFC or PFL, something like that. I mean, I don't know if PFL have a bantamweight division. I don't think they do. So maybe a UFC shot would be better. But yeah, I mean, I'll just keep my head down. I'll keep working my butt off, and then hopefully I'll be able to, get a few more eyes on me, and then sign with a really big promotion. That's what I hope for anyway. But I mean, it's very early days. I don't want to say too much, and my next fight I just lose it or something. But yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, you keep knocking them down the way you have. I'm sure that call comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah. Hopefully.
2 huge outings thus far, and what's next for you?
Hopefully, whether or not I fight in November, that's still up in the air at the moment. And if not in November, it will be early next year. I'm hoping to do a bit more grappling. I'm doing some big tournaments towards the end of this year. So I'm hoping to focus a bit more on my grappling for a little bit, because I've not done that very often recently. So I'm trying to do a little bit more on that, and then hopefully just.
We've lost Summer again. Hopefully she'll jump back. 1 second, guys. There we go. You were saying?
Yeah, hopefully in November. Honestly, I'm like the worst guest here.
No, it's okay.
Hopefully, yeah. If I don't fight in November, which I think there's every possibility that I might be fighting in November, but if not in November, early next year, probably on FCC again, because they've been an awesome promotion to be under. If I'm honest, like the whole crew, like everyone backstage is just. They're just so nice. Like once you fought there once, like everyone just knows who you are and you know who they are. It's really professionally run. So yeah, if I can keep being on FCC and it's on UFC Fight Pass, and I've said this many times, but it's very fancy being on there. It's very cool seeing, you can search your name on UFC Fight Pass. I've done that a few times. So yeah, it's a really cool platform to be on. So yeah, hoping that I can get a few more wins on there, and then we'll see what's next. But yeah, either end of this year or start of next year, I'll be fighting again.
I definitely look forward to it. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for your future announcements. Summer, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you again today, mate.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure as well. Sorry, I've just nipped off a couple of times there, but
no, that's all right. We all need a break from talking sometimes. Don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Right, last but not least, do you have a message for the fans and anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Oh my gosh, there's so many people that I need to thank. There's so many people. Obviously, all the guys at Ronin MMA, like Silk and Adam and Jack and Gaz from my strength conditioning. He's been a saint as well. Obviously, all the guys at my jiu-jitsu gym at Roll Deep. I've got Matt there and Carlos. They've been helping me. Massive thank you to my sponsors. Nick. Honestly, I wouldn't be able to train as much as I do without him and his sponsorship. So, I need to thank him massively. And then Mike, he's my osteopath that I see like every other week, and he fixes my body all the time. So yeah, thank you to those guys. and Campbell at A Cut Above Nutrition. He's helped me with like the last 2 fight camps, and I've never felt so good in the cage. So massive thank you for him and all of his knowledge on nutrition. If anyone has any like doubts in their nutrition, just get in touch with him. He's like the best in the game, honestly. And I think that's everyone. If I've missed out anyone, I'm really sorry. But yeah, and then thank you to all my friends and family and my fans. Yeah, like thank you so much for all your support. It means a lot. A few people have kind of dropped off in the last year or so, so it's really nice to see like the OGs that are sticking by me. So thank you very much. So yeah, hopefully I can keep up my winning streak and have a couple more exciting fights for everyone. But yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Anytime, Sam. You enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for speaking again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. Take care.
Wicked. You too. Bye.